What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel, girl. I know, long time no speak. It definitely feels a little bit weird being back behind a camera. But hey girl, I am so happy to be sitting down and recording a video for you guys. First of all, hey, Happy New Year. Grab your drink and sit down because we got a lot to talk about. I'm doing my hair, doing my makeup because I am going on like a little casual date or whatever. So I'm just gonna be getting dressed and we're gonna talk. We got a lot to talk about. Like I said, we will be doing a life update in this video. I want to do some girl chat because I feel like I have a lot to talk about, especially after I posted this stuff on my story on Instagram after Valentine's Day. Y'all was like, okay, so I was already gonna be doing, let me turn my phone down. I was already gonna be doing a life update, but that kind of expedited it because y'all was like, Dominique, we need updates now, which I totally understand. So grab your drink, let's go ahead and get into today's video. So I'm gonna be starting off with my hair. I'm not gonna be going into too much detail when it comes to like my hair and my makeup and stuff. I'm just gonna be talking to you guys. So I'm gonna start off by curling my hair. I'm gonna do my hair first because I learned that that's the right thing to do, is your hair first. So update, where have I been? All the things. Let me set my phone up because my phone is kind of like my little guide so I don't get off track. Where have I been? I have just been working, girls. Like, y'all know I just moved to, I can't even say just because I've basically been here in Atlanta now for about a year. I'm coming up on my year since I've been living here in Atlanta. So I've just been working, like literally, you guys know I am a travel nurse. Well, if you don't know, hey, my name is Dominique. I am a travel nurse. Currently based in Atlanta, Georgia. However, I am from Florida. I have just been working, girl. I am no longer at the original hospital that I was at when I first came to Atlanta. I did actually end up ending that assignment early. Just long story short, we were super short staffed. It was to the point where staff were quitting, travelers were quitting, and I just felt super unsafe with my license being on the line and us being super short staffed. So I did end up ending that assignment. I didn't get penalized or anything like that because I know that's probably what you guys are going to ask me. I didn't get penalized. I did end up leaving, I think like a month or two early because I was on my extension. So I finished the first 13 weeks and then the second 13 weeks I did end up leaving early. So I didn't get penalized because I went, you know, about it the right way. I put my 2 weeks in and then they just asked me like, why was I leaving early and everything like that. And I just told them, I was like, hey, you guys are like super short staffed and I just, you know, I don't want to put my license on the line when it comes to, you know, taking care of patients, and being short staffed is not my fault, and I'm gonna be honest, it's really not my problem. So yeah, of course as a travel nurse I'm there to fill a void, but when that void is so big and I see like several people quitting while I'm still there, yeah, no, that doesn't sit right with me. So I did end up leaving that contract early, and then literally like the next week after I started the position that I'm in right now. So I am still travel nursing here in Atlanta. I love it. I do plan to renew my lease. You guys know I moved into my apartment and my 1 year for my lease is coming up as well. So I do plan to renew. And with that being said, I do plan on eventually changing my permanent address to Atlanta because I still technically am a Florida resident. So that's just what's to come as far as, you know, where I've been and work and stuff like that. I've just been enjoying living on my own. I don't think people really talk about the transition from, you know, college and then college to, you know, your career. Well, before that, college into like residency or, you know, your first year of being in your career, and then after that actually moving into your own place. It's a huge transition, so I've just been enjoying being on my own. Like I said, I am renewing my lease for the first time. I definitely feel like I finally created a routine with, you know, working and everything like that, and just, you know, balancing going to work and doing things that I enjoy. And then another huge thing that I don't know if you guys noticed, but I've definitely gotten more into fitness. And when I say fitness, I mean like my Pilates and my cycling. This is by far the most consistent I've ever been when it comes to fitness. I found things that I enjoy when it comes to fitness, which allows me to be more consistent because I enjoy it. I found that I was, you know, going to the gym and stuff like that, and then eventually I would fall off after 3 months because, you know, it wasn't something that I genuinely enjoyed. So now that I've found Pilates and cycling, that's my thing, Pilates and cycling, I found myself becoming more consistent. And when I don't go, I'm like, wow, I haven't been, you know, to Pilates in 3 days, you know, like that kind of thing. So I'm definitely proud of that. I never thought that I would be that kind of person that was like, oh girl, you haven't been to, you know, Pilates or yoga in 3 days, like you tighten up. I used to be actually the heaviest that I've ever been, which was 157. Your girl almost saw 160 on the scale, and that's what kind of like shot me into, okay, we gotta get into somebody's fitness class. And then I ended up finding things that I truly enjoy. So overall, I definitely feel like I am finding myself when it comes to routines and fitness and food and everything like that, and just bettering myself as far as health aspect. In addition to that, I've just been romanticizing my life. I feel like that's pretty big, especially because you guys know I got out of a 6-year relationship, which we'll talk about here in just a second. But I definitely have been romanticizing my life because I was, you know, new to Atlanta. I didn't know anyone, so I basically was hanging out with myself all the time. Take myself to lunch, take myself to dinner, buy myself flowers, that kind of thing. And I definitely feel like it has contributed to my overall happiness, if that makes sense. Just being, you know, alone and actually spending time with myself and learning myself and learning what I like, learning what I don't like. And the only way to do that, I feel like, is to actually romanticize your life. For example, you learn what kind of flowers you like by buying several different types of flowers, and you notice that, hey, I tend to lean more towards these. You know what I mean? Like, I like the way that these, I don't know, stay alive longer, or whatever the case may be. So just little things like that. That's probably not a good example, but if you get me, you get me. You basically learn yourself by being by yourself and romanticizing your life and things like that. So that's what I personally have been doing in the year that I've been here in Atlanta. I feel like I can honestly say I am in a much better mental space. I've taken this year to really just focus on myself and gain new habits and things like that. And I really wanted to focus on my relationships when it comes to my friends, my family. Although there is still room for improvement, because I always feel like there's room for improvement, I'm very happy with how far I've come. I'm definitely working more on is like my work and personal life balance, because I've switched hospitals and I truly enjoy where I work now. I found myself picking up extra shifts, and I know honestly it's because it's wintertime, and in my mind wintertime is the time for me to stack, because summer I really don't plan to be at work like that. So I found myself picking up a lot of shifts and overtime and stuff, because girl, the money is there. But I also, you know, want to make time for things that I want to do. It's really because, like I said, I really enjoy where I work at now. And, you know, we're staffed appropriately. I'm not really stressed when I go to work. You know, we all have our days. But overall, it's a pretty healthy work environment. So I definitely want to find that balance when it comes to my personal life and work. but that's just as of recently, and I feel like it's an honest fix. I need to stop picking up so many shifts. I literally had this epiphany like 2 days ago. I was like, there's no reason why I can wake up, get dressed, do all these things, make sure I'm on time for a facility, but when it comes to something that I want to do, such as YouTube, I put it on the back burner. I don't feel like that's fair to myself. Clocking in for myself, like how I clock in for my job. That's where I am right now. I'm just navigating these 20s, girl, and I've learned to give myself grace because this is my first time doing this, you know, like, and I don't feel like that's something that we truly like wrap our minds around. Like, this is our first time doing this thing called life, so you cannot be so hard on yourself when it comes to making mistakes. And not even like a mistake, but like how I said, trying to find that balance. Like, I can't get upset at myself because this is my first time doing this. So backtracking a little bit, I know that I mentioned to you guys that I have been, you know, thinking about changing my permanent residency here to Georgia, and the reason why is because I am, you know, thinking and bringing back to the forefront of my brain of getting back into school. You guys know that I do want to become a nurse practitioner, and I want to, or I plan to, change my driver's license. That way I can become a Georgia resident and get in-state tuition. That way I'm not an out-of-state student. So that is just the things that I've been thinking about. Like I said, because I've been here now for a year, I definitely think it's time that we go ahead and lock in and go ahead and get this done while I'm still 25. That way I can be finished my program around like what, 27, 28, and that's still young. So that's just like what I've been thinking about now that I've been here for a year. I feel like I've got my bearings. I learned a little bit about Atlanta. I have my routine. I just felt like moving, new job, jumping into school was all way too much for one year. Just, I wanted to come here, get myself together, and then get into school once I felt like I was ready mentally. But that's where I've been, and that's where I plan to go in the future. And the reason why I emphasize I is because whatever God has planned for me is what we will be doing, okay? With that being said, I finally wanted to talk to you guys about my previous relationship. I remember when I came on here and I told you guys that my ex and I have broke up, and I just needed a minute to process it, and I think I'm finally ready to talk about it. Like any other person, I need time to process things before I, you know, kind of tell you my experience and just what I've learned from the entire thing. As you guys know, I was with my ex for 6 years. I met him when I was 18. And we were together for 6 years. So long story short, I was cheated on, and I don't have like a big story to tell because I actually found out from himself. Like, he actually told me. He told me one day, like, hey, this is what I did. We got into the details, and that was that. So of course I'm not going to go into the details of what happened and everything, but overall that is what happened. So there was infidelity, and that is why we broke up. Let me start off by saying every woman is different. Every woman has things that they will and will not tolerate, and cheating is something that I personally will not tolerate. That is very black and white to me because I feel like you cannot accidentally cheat on someone. You get what I'm saying? Like, you have to deliberately go out and do something and have that thought process of, okay, this is what I'm gonna do despite the consequences. So that's why, to me personally, cheating is like a no-brainer. So with that being said, I did leave, and that's why I told you guys we broke up, and there was no question about it. And although he told me himself, which I respect, I was like, okay, I appreciate you coming to me and telling me this. It does not change the fact that it happened. So that is why we ended up breaking up, and there was no like gray area, if that makes sense. There was no, oh, well, maybe we can. No, I'm not that kind of girl. And then I'm also not the kind of girl that needs closure. I've learned that about myself. I just did not need closure because that was all of the closure that I needed. There's nothing to discuss. Like I said, we did discuss the details of what happened just out of curiosity. Like, I just wanted to know, like, you know, the actual details. But when it came to rekindling and fixing, and it was just a no. And I say all this to say, I hope that you or whoever's watching this knows their worth. Like, there's just some things us women should not tolerate. And I feel like when you know your worth, it makes it a lot easier to get up and remove yourself from a table. You know what I mean? Like, first of all, I hate this whole what do you bring to the table thing. Bitch, I am the table. I hate that discussion because I feel like as a woman, we bring so much to the table to begin with. We are the table. And I feel like it's really important to understand this concept because it will change how you navigate relationships, especially as a woman. You will not tolerate certain things. I've learned a lot. From my previous relationship, I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about relationships. So I don't feel like it was a waste. And the reason why I say that is I get that question a lot, especially from people that I talk about and I tell this to. Of course, it's disappointing because 6 years, you know, that's like a long time. But I definitely feel like it was a chance for growth. It was a chance to learn things. There was a lot of lessons, and of course my plan is to take all of those lessons and apply them not only to myself but future relationships that I choose to have. And don't get me wrong, these aren't things that I learned at the beginning of the breakup and, you know, like the healing stage. Is definitely things that I learned 3 months in, 6 months in. So I just wanted to share this with whoever is out there who's probably going through the same thing. It's not the end of the world. It may feel like it, but it's really not the end of the world. And I want you to take this as a lesson. Whatever that lesson may be, whether it's to, you know, love yourself more, or maybe it's, you know, better communication ways. I really want you to internalize that and take that as the reason why you went through it. In addition, I want you to know that it is okay to set boundaries, even if that makes someone else uncomfortable. And this includes family members. Like, I'm not just talking about relationships with a significant other. It is okay to create boundaries when it comes to certain things because that is a form of self-love. If you do not have any boundaries, then that means you have no place where you draw the line when it comes to certain things. So do not feel bad because you are drawing a boundary, or don't feel bad because you feel like, oh, everyone else accepts this, or, you know, like that kind of thing. You have to have that much self-love and that much respect for yourself that you don't care what it is, what happened, that you know that this is your line, and once you cross that line, that's it, because you've made those boundaries so clear and so profound that there's no reason why you would cross a boundary if you knew what it was. I know I touched a lot on confidence and self-love in this video, as well as, you know, just grace. I feel like that is the theme of this video, but I just feel like it's so important, especially during this time, especially during these 20-somethings, because girl, especially being a girl, maybe there's somebody out there that's watching this, whether you're younger or older, we're the same age, that's probably going through something similar. I want you to love yourself enough to not tolerate certain things. Like, have your boundaries and stand on them. And let me be clear, I'm not saying that I didn't have self-love or anything like that. I just really want to share how important it is to love yourself enough to not let certain things happen to you. I really wanted to come on here and talk to you guys about this because I do feel like we're family, and I told you guys that I just needed a moment to process what was going on. Like I said, me moving and everything like that, in addition to the breakup, was quite a lot, but I wanted to talk to you guys about it, not only to, you know, kind of close that chapter in your guys' sense, but also just talk to you guys about the importance of self-love and confidence, because when you have that, it will, like, tolerance be low, baby. Like, you what? Cut. No. No, 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 no. And like I've said, I've definitely have people ask me like, oh, like 6 years, how could you just throw it away? Whoop-de-whoop. Again, I just love myself way too much to even put myself through the mental exercise of wondering where you at, what you doing, why you ain't, you know what I mean? I don't know. I just feel like once that trust is broken, and again, every woman has what they will tolerate. I just feel like once that trust is broken, it's just so much to gain it back that I don't have that mental, you know, like I just don't want to go through that, especially because I know that there is somebody out there who would not even put themselves in that predicament. They wouldn't even place themselves in that situation to do it. You deserve the world. And if the person that you're dealing with cannot give it to you, although we're giving ourselves the world, then move on. Another life lesson that I learned from my previous relationship is that it wasn't fair, but you have to move on. Sometimes we're just waiting for someone to say it wasn't fair. I'm here to tell you, babe, it wasn't fair, but you have to move on. You have to let it go. And it sucks. And honestly, this does not only apply to relationships, it applies to life. Like, things are going to happen to you that you feel are not fair. They may very well be unfair, but life goes on. You know what I mean? And we can't dwindle on it. We can't, because then you're gonna spend your whole time waiting for someone to come and save you. Don't get me wrong, I want you to acknowledge your feelings, but you have to get the fuck up, okay? Because nobody's gonna come out here and save you. No one. And again, I love that I'm having this conversation with you guys, and I love that my channel is more than just nursing. It's more than just beauty. It's more than just lifestyle, but it's just like overall girlhood. And it honestly reminds me of the Galentine that I just recently went to. So my coworker hosted a Galentine, and I went. We were all in our pajamas. It was so cute, so cute. And we had, you know, like girl talk, and we were just talking about how the chemistry of your brain when you're cheated on just changes. When I tell you guys, that is so true. Your brain chemistry just changes. You think so differently after like your first true heartbreak. You know what I mean? Especially as a woman, it really changes you. And I think I really struggled with allowing that brain chemistry change to either be positive or negative. So what I mean by that is I didn't want that situation to alter, and although it did, I didn't want it to really alter how I felt about men and how I felt about relationships, but it did. However, I still wanted it to be in a positive way. Again, lessons. So of course I didn't want to be out here thinking like, oh, men are cheaters, whoop-de-whoop, because you have some women like that. But I know that there are some good guys out there. It's just unfortunate that this one was not the one. That's what I mean by closure. I didn't feel like I needed that, because once I finally processed it, I wasn't mad. I was more so disappointed, because we all make mistakes. It's just unfortunate that you made this mistake, and that mistake unfortunately was my boundary. When you've been, you know, stepped out on, it definitely changes your mindset. It changes the way you think. It changes the way you date. Like, it just changes a lot of things, let alone your trust issues. I'm grateful that I got to go through this ride at such a young age, because it makes me approach things a lot differently. I've always been a realist in that I know that, hey, we very well could not make it, but it definitely made me be more of a realist and just be realistic, and not necessarily negative, but realistic. Like, this could either go A or this could go B, and not be in a fantasy world. I also learned that it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to need a minute and not have everything together, because especially being on YouTube, I felt like that I needed to have everything together, because I had people that looked up to me, and I had to always have things figured out, but that's so unrealistic. Having that expectation for myself just added on more stress, more anxiety, more, you know. So that is why I did take a minute again to just process everything that was happening, including the moves, because I just needed a second to myself. I'm so excited to see what is in store for this year, you guys. It's only February. There's so much to come. There's so many things that are gonna work out. There are some things I'm sure that's gonna fall apart because it's inevitable, but I'm just really excited to see what this year brings. I'm excited to travel. I'm supposed to be going to 3 countries this year. I definitely feel like I've gotten my little spark back, as you guys would say, because I finally found that rhythm. You know, I found that groove. I also learned that I can't be so focused on like the future, because when you do that, then you forget to, you know, enjoy the now. And that's really what I'm focused on right now, because in my opinion, it just adds unneeded stress. You know what I mean? If it's meant to be, it will be. If God has something in your path, if God has something in his plan, then it will be, like, no matter what. So why spend the time, you know, stressing about it? And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. One thing that I can absolutely say about myself that I'm proud of is like how resilient I am. Like, don't get me wrong, I am going to cry. I'm gonna cry, but I'm also gonna get through it. You get what I'm saying? Like, I always just bounce back. And that's one thing that I really am proud of myself about. I admire myself, is that I know I'm gonna get through it. Through the grace of God, like, I'm gonna get through it. And I really want every woman out there to know that about herself, that she is so resilient. You are so resilient. No matter what you go through, you're gonna get through it. Like, it's gonna take time, it's gonna hurt, it's gonna be uncomfortable, but you are going to get through it. I'm just really happy. I'm very proud of how far I come and everything that I've accomplished, and I know what I deserve. I know I deserve the best. I only want the best for myself. And again, I just feel like every woman out there should know that. They should feel that. They should believe that. Like, if you don't want the best for yourself, how are you gonna expect the best from someone else? And again, I feel like when you truly understand that and you truly believe that deep down inside, girl, you're not gonna let shit slide. Nothing slides, baby. Nothing gets past you. So let's go ahead and take down these curls. I already had one fall out in the back, which is fine, because we'll probably touch it up anyway. But yeah, like I said, I'm just going on a little casual 1-2-1-2 little date. So nothing crazy, although I did my makeup like I was going on a whole like evening date. Yeah. Oh, the hair came out super cutesy. I absolutely love these rollers. Like, love them down. Look at the curls. Curls for the girls. Oh my gosh, my nose itches. So I am actually gonna brush them. That way I can just make sure they're all in uniform. And then I like to twirl it on my finger like that. And then that's how you get this cute little like curl at the bottom. And I'm about to just go ahead and fix like my edge right here. I got this new edge brush and comb combo from Galentine. So we did like little goodie bags, and this was one of the things that was in it. I love it so much. But you guys, that is all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you took something away from this video, whether it's regarding self-love, confidence, or boundaries. If not, I just hope it was entertaining, girl. I hope you had something to drink, a little snacky snack. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it. I really wanted to come on here and just give you guys an update on where I've been physically and mentally. Again, I feel like I'm in a much better space mentally. I'm, you know, figuring out these 20-somethings. Like, that's all I can say, is just figuring it out and having a lot more grace and being a lot nicer to myself. But can we take a moment for the lashes? So I am trying strip lashes. I'm back on my strip lash like little binge or whatever, because with my individuals and me going to hot Pilates, girl, they literally fall out so easily. So I've been on the hunt for like a good pair of strip lashes, and I think I got a winner. So they're the Allure London Volume and Curl, and it's number 111. So I did cut the ends off. I don't know where the other end went. Little tip, make sure you're cutting your lashes to fit your eyes, because they're longer for different eye shapes. Anyways, I cut the end off, and I think I really like these. It's definitely giving fresh set vibes. I love how short they are. I love the curl. I love these so much. These are so cute. But let me go ahead and get dressed, girl. Like I said, I got me a cute little date or whatever. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you took something away from it, and you guys know the drill. Until next time, I love you so much, and I will see you in the next one.
I will wait for you.